Hey everybody, what's happening? Hope you're having a great day. Been a couple days since I've been on here. Had something on my mind I wanted to share today. And just over the weekend, there was a particular verse that was on my mind. And I think part of it was because was talking to a couple friends and working through just some different issues in our lives and trying to figure out what God really wants for us, who He made us to be, and what are some of the things that may be preventing us from moving forward in the things that we believe that God's calling us to. And usually fear, guilt, and shame, we can pretty much boil almost everything down to fear, guilt, and shame are the things that keep us from walking on the path and in the design or in the true identity that God has for us. And so we were talking through those things, and the verse that kept coming to my mind and the verse I used to encourage my friend was Psalm 139, 23 to 24. So I'm going to read that to you real quick, but then I want to show you something else that's really interesting. Sorry for the dings here. So verse 23, so this is Psalm 139, verse 23. Hey, Annalisa. It says, God, I invite your searching gaze into my heart. Examine me through and through. Find out everything that may be hidden within me. Put me to the test and sift through all my anxious cares. Verse 24 says, see if there is any path of pain that I'm walking on, and lead me back to your glorious everlasting ways, the path that brings me back to you. So this is King David that wrote this, and he's basically saying, God, just go ahead and search me. I'm an open book. You know me, you know my thoughts anyhow. And I want you to search through me and sift through me and show me the things that I can't even see about myself. And then he says, and just show me if I'm on a path of pain. In other words, show me if I'm on a path that is causing me to separate from you. Because, God wants to walk in perfect unity. He wants to walk in perfect unity with us. He wants us to abide with Him. He wants to abide in us and us in Him. And so that means this tremendous togetherness, or even a oneness, is what the Bible really teaches. And so he's saying, show me if there's any way in me that's causing me to separate from you, and even separate from myself, or even separate from ideas that you give me. And so what he's saying is, show me if I'm walking on a path that's leading there, and bring me back to a path that leads me back together with you. Now, that's a great verse. We share that. If you've been around church, you've heard that one all the time, is Lord, search me and know me and show me any way that's not right in me. You hear that quoted quite a bit. I'm reading the Passion Translation, kind of become one of my favorite translations to read just to get a different view on something. And so show me if there is a path that's leading me away from you, or help me get back on a path that leads me to you. Now, here's what's interesting is we tend to think of the Bible as these ideas that are just these separate ideas, or a bunch of random ideas thrown together in one passage. But that's not really how it was written. And sometimes we read the Bible with our brain, and we get away from reading it with our heart. And it's really how it was written. It was really written for us to really read with our heart, and sometimes to intuit our understanding of it more than to logic our understanding of it, or rationalize it. So why did he put this verse? If you look at, he stuck this in a passage of Psalm 139 that's also a super powerful passage. So let's jump back up and show you what else is in this chapter. So if you go to Psalm 139, verse 13, and we read several verses here, this is one of my favorite. It says, this is David talking to God. He says, you formed my innermost being, shaping my delicate inside and my intricate outside, and wove them all together in my mother's womb. I thank you, God, for making me so mysteriously complex. Everything you do is marvelously breathtaking. It simply amazes me to think about it, how thoroughly you know me, Lord. You even formed every bone in my body when you created me in the secret place, carefully, skillfully shaping me from nothing to something. You saw who you created me to be before I became me. Before I'd ever seen the light of day, the number of days you planned for me were already recorded in your book. Every single moment you were thinking of me. How precious and wonderful to consider that you cherish me constantly in your every thought. O God, your desires towards me are more than the grains of sand on every shore. When I awake each morning, you're still with me. So, man, what an amazing passage, because that basically just says God created you before you were even a twinkle in your mother and father's eye. He already knew who you were. He was knitting you together. You were his masterpiece, one of a kind. And every day of your life was already laid out for you. He already knows what that is. And he has a great plan for you. So what an amazing passage. But see, we want to take that thought and make it a totally separate thought from this down here where it says, God, I invite your searching gaze into my heart, examine me through and through, find out everything that may be hidden within me, put me to the test and sift through all my anxious cares, see if there is any path of pain I'm working on, and lead me back to your glorious everlasting ways, the path that brings me back to you. So why did David put that verse in the same verse with, you created me before, you knew who I was in my mother's womb, you knit me together, you ordained every day for me? Why did he put those passages together in the same chapter? Well, here's what I think. I think we tend to use that verse in the wrong way. I think we tend to say, God, show me where I'm sinning, where I'm morally messing up. And I don't think that's the point. I think what King David is saying here is, God, man, I have gotten off the path of who you created me to be. I've gotten off the path of my identity. I'm no longer being who you made me to be. I'm being something else. I separated from you and I'm now acting in some different way. Will you please search me and show me any anxious thought or any fear that is causing me to separate myself from you, from the person who you created me to be in my mother's womb? Here's one of the questions I've been asking people lately is, do you feel like you were born for this? Do you feel like you were made for this? Because if our answer to that is no, then we've totally missed out on Psalm 139, the fact that God made us very specifically, very carefully, very thoughtfully, and he continues to think about us continually. And yet we walk in some different identity and think that this is going to work out. And so we have to ask God that same question. God, will you search me and know me and show any anxious thought in me? Will you show me where I'm not walking in what you design me to be, where I'm walking on a different path that's causing me to separate from you? And will you show me how to get on the path coming back to you? So anyhow, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that's helpful. I hope that's encouraging. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments on that. If you want to comment down in the comments, and I'm always checking those and replying. And we'll be back soon to talk again. See you.